Go. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
It's another episode of DrawBomb.
Yes, indeed.
Boy,
Back.
yes, back and I wouldn't say better than ever, but you know, up to the same level of quality.
About the same, I would say.
Every episode I've noticed starts with me trying to draw a circle for the bomb and having to retry like 5 times.
Now people know the struggle of digital artists.
It's true. Circles are not that difficult on paper.
No, fun.
I can get them in like
Digital?
1 try.
Usually I get the first go. On digital, though, it takes at least 50 goes.
Yeah, at least 50 goes.
50 goes, maybe sometimes 100 goes.
Sometimes. You know, sometimes that's true. We have some people in the chat already. Znewt says first, and he is first, so you know he gets the prize this week. We'll send you your $100 check in the mail for being the first in the chat. Next, we got Hidden Pixel Play says, "There they are, the Draw Boys.
We are them.
We are them, and we are here." And then also, Captain Sheepy is here. An emoji of somebody punching what appears to be, I don't know, a brain wearing glasses, some kind of mush pile.
Sheep.
That's, you know.
It's a sheep.
Oh. Alright.
It says sheep will bonk when I moused over it, but when I was looking at it, I was like, oh, it's like it could be sheep hair.
Said it with some confidence, so I believe you that it's a sheep.
I'm mostly confident because it is titled Sheep will bonk, and I'm like...
That's a good reason.
Yeah. I feel like that's, it's a dead giveaway.
Yeah. Usually having the word sheep on it will be a good way to know that it's a sheep.
Because their name's Captain Sheepy, so I feel like it's fitting. So.
It's true.
Where do you get sheep emojis? That's what I'm wondering.
So many layers. I've been scrounging the web looking for sheep emojis with no luck.
I've been looking for Ian emojis, and they're surprisingly rare.
Here, 1 second, I think. No, never mind. This joke is not worth it. I was gonna look for a poo emoji and post it, but you know, who's got time to dig through everything? I can just tell you sucks, and we'll leave it at that.
Are we gonna start the episode off with a Google search already?
No, not yet. We gotta save those. Nero Nico's also in the chat. Says,
Hello.
"Hey guys, how's it going? It's going good. How about you?"
Thanks for joining in.
Captain Sheepy says, "I was gifted a sub by chance, so it's kind of a coincidence." Well, there you go.
I actually talked with Nero Nico. They were around for one of the last episodes, and they informed me of who they are. So I was like, oh, now I know who Nero Nico is.
I still don't know who they are.
They are. I met them on a music producers Discord, if I am remembering that conversation correctly.
Cool.
Yeah. So thanks for joining in. I appreciate you stopping by.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome. It's acting very strangely with file today. I got it fixed. So, what has been new with you?
Boy, not a lot. My job is still shut down in Michigan, so I have been taking on some extra work from home and staying inside and losing my mind slightly. Ever so slightly, but I'm doing pretty good.
I gotta tell you, having been stuck in the same house for like the last 4 or 5 months or so without leaving ever, cabin fever is real.
I know.
Like, I don't even know if you're real. Like, you could just be a figment of my imagination for all I know.
I think I'm real. I also don't know if I'm real.
I mean, I don't know if I'm real. Like, this could all be like a weird, like, reverse. Wait. This could all be like a solipsist dream, and we're all just figments of somebody's, the one true person's imagination. You know, there's like...
What kind of shitty dream is that person having?
That is a great question. I don't know who would dream me up.
I mean, I've had some real stinkers as far as dreams go, but you never know.
About Ian again?
Damn it.
Off. Wake me up. Wake me up inside. Save me. So what have you been up to this week?
So, me and my girlfriend, who's also stuck at home, we decided to try and peddle some wares. So we've been doing a bunch of crafting, selling it. Like, we haven't quite like set up an Etsy or anything yet, but we've been selling on social media and stuff like that. So it's been pretty fun. We've been doing that, playing some video games, been working on some commissions. That is about it, honestly.
Nice. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. Did not get to see the family. I mean, I guess it kind of did. We made a big meal. Ate a bunch of food. Made like food for like probably, well, it could have fed like 5 people, but there's only 2 of us here. And then we ate more than we should have. And then we video chatted with a bunch of family for like the next several hours and like went through everybody and kind of called them. So that was kind of a good alternative to actually getting to see people.
Nice. Pretty much celebrating Thanksgiving, right? You know, the food, the fam, without getting anybody sick, and that's a good thing. Or
That's
without
true.
anybody.
I might have gotten a little sick from how much I ate, but overall.
Oh, I did. Most
good.
certainly did. Yeah. We had our dinner, like just the family, just like those of us who were in this house, had the big dinner, and I ate so much food that I immediately went upstairs and just went to sleep for like 8 hours.
That's what you're supposed to do on Thanksgiving.
Indeed.
If you don't take a nap, then what are you doing?
Not eating enough. You gotta be in a food coma by 6.
I give thanks for naps. I think they're pretty great.
I certainly do. I love naps. I could take a nap right now if I weren't doing this.
You know, a lot of people take naps for granted. If you were a caveman, you couldn't take a nap.
This is true. You'd be like, my family will starve. I haven't killed a bison in the last 8 hours.
Also, you fall asleep, dinosaur eats you.
True.
That's a fact right there.
That was always like the peril.
Maybe not a dinosaur, you know, because time frames. But there's predators. There's things that'll eat you.
Apex predators.
Other types of predators.
Yeah, I'm not sure what other type of, like, I've only ever heard people say like apex predators and like bird of prey, I guess, is like the only other sort of
Bird of paradise.
Like what's another battle royale that predators come from? Is Apex? No, yeah, Apex is the one that my friend plays all the time. PUBG predators. It's all the people who go out hunting for other people during
Internet
battle
predators.
royale. Internet predators. Those are also definitely stay away from those.
Yeah.
Cavemen didn't have to worry about those quite so much.
Oh, what a blessing. Cavemen didn't know how good they had it.
They really didn't. My parents were always thinking anyone on the internet was a predator. Like, if I was like, I talked to like a person on the internet today, they would
Like
be
me.
like, well,
They think I was a predator.
I don't think I told them about you for a very long time.
That's fair.
Just wanted to avoid that conversation if at all possible.
You know, well, I'm glad I wasn't a predator for everyone.
Me too. Jury's still out on me. No.
You've had your opportunities to murder me, and you did not take them. So
You're right.
I think that's the test.
I guess you're right. Yeah, I passed.
You did.
I didn't realize I was taking the exam, but look at that. I passed with flying colors. Let's see. NeuroNico says yes, thanks, and because I think they're responding to me correctly, remembering who they are. And they say, can you guys do the bomb's evil counterpart? Well, 5 steps ahead of you on that one. sort of. Do we actually have like an official evil counterpart?
Like a Luigi or a Wario bomb type?
Yeah. It's a great question. What even is the classification of this bomb? Like, what? This is just like a cartoon bomb, right? Like the style where it's like a big circle with a wick on it.
It's like are you asking like what is like roleplay category is?
No, well, yes, almost, but just like, if other bombs are like, this is like a Scud missile, this is C4, like what even, like this is not like
it's like an old timey bomb. I think this was the type of bomb back in the day, like a black powder type bomb. It's one of those things like how a picture of a telephone receiver is still used as like as the app on your phone, but there's kids that are probably like, what the hell does this icon even mean?
Yeah, it's or like how people like, I guess nowadays people don't really draw TV with like bunny ears coming out of them, but like even like as far as like the early 2000s, people were drawing TVs with like bunny ears because it was just the most visually distinctive like part of
it's a visual language, and that's what kind of meant TV for a while. Now it's kind of doesn't really look like that anymore, so I imagine that'll change with time. But I think bombs are that way. I'm curious. I think like a medieval bomb probably kind of looks like that.
So yeah, I'm looking. The word grenade originated in the Glorious Revolution, 1688, where cricket ball-sized iron spheres packed with gunpowder and fitted with slow-burning wicks were first used against the Jacobites in the battles of Killiecrankie and Glen Shiel.
There you have it, folks. A little history lesson for you. So it's just an iron ball filled with gunpowder. I feel like that'd be a hell of a bomb because just iron like shrapnel.
Yeah, it would probably suck.
Yeah. Not a fan. I mean, of getting blown up by one of those, anyways.
Yeah. Well, in general, I would like to avoid being blown up by or
a bomb
or around a bomb.
I think that's a good goal. It's not the way I'm hoping to leave this mortal coil.
Same.
But you never know. Beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah.
As I was making that joke, I'm like, oh, that insinuates that I want to die, which is funny, but it's not. I didn't think of it in time to actually mean that.
Everyone, just remember the number for the suicide hotline is. We're going at 800-273-8255. So don't call it for Brandon. I don't think he was serious.
No.
But it felt weird to. Weird to reference a real hotline and then not actually give the number. So
there's a weird context, but
Anyways, let's move on.
Please.
I don't think there's an evil counterpart. If anything, there's a good counterpart to this bomb character that is not a bomb.
Yeah, our guy's kind of like. Well, I don't know. It seems like in this world, all the characters are bombs.
Yeah, we do kind of have like a motif of just different colored bomb characters.
But now going back to the way I was talking about it earlier, if it were like kind of a role-playing like alignment, what do you think our bomb's alignment is?
In like Dungeons and Dragons?
Essentially, or like a paper and pencil game type thing. Chaotic neutral?
I would say chaotic neutral because we don't really have like a set personality for this guy. So he could really just be anything. So he's kind of a wild card because he's like, he's either a Saiyan shooting powerful blasts at a dude in Saiyan armor or, any number of combinations. It could be anything.
I agree.
So chaotic neutral, although being chaotic neutral doesn't mean basically chaotic neutral is like wild card. So he is kind of a wild card because he can be.
He's literally anything every episode, something else. So his evil counterpart, I guess, would just be him with like a black goatee, right?
Yes. Yeah. No. Definitely straight up Star Trek rules.
Took a long time to get there, but I think that's ultimately the answer.
Or it's like him, but it's got like a bomb or a skull on the bomb. So because like they used to do that a lot too. They used to draw like.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. That'd be pretty sick.
We're still talking with Disney, fleshing out the extended universe.
Yeah.
So we can't really talk about a lot of this stuff, but we, you know.
Rosario Dawson's on the line to be we did have her, and then she ended up in The Mandalorian, so we lost that, which would have been a good get.
Yeah, it's a real loss, but we're licking our wounds and we're working on putting this thing together.
Yeah, we got to get a return on the investment of those like 360-degree panoramic TV screens that they use as backgrounds for everything.
Yeah, we really invested too much on those, I think.
Oh my god, so much money.
It seemed necessary when I was...
It was like a good idea at the time. We just didn't follow through on every other part of the plan. We just sort of bought stuff, and now we're poor, and you know.
And you want to buy 1,000 fake meatballs?
Please. Wasn't that a Tim Robinson sketch?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great sketch.
He has a failed movie and he's trying to offload all the props.
A bunch of blonde, slick back hair wigs. Slick black hair wigs. 50 black slick back hair wigs, I think is what the actual
thing he has to try and say it like 3 times also.
Yeah.
How about the people in the chat? How were your Thanksgivings?
Yeah, tell us how they went, cause I'm curious. I got to know. And
for the sake of this drawing, I definitely put the wrong shoulder forward. It's making it harder.
Oh, yeah. Anatomy is going straight out the window with this one. I've already fucked it up like 7 different ways. I should have done an underdrawing.
I do those with everything I do, but with this show, I do not.
Who's got the time?
I just make myself suffer.
Yeah, right. But Z Newts in the chat says Bomb Guy's doppelganger is a bath bomb, which is true actually. I guess I would be interested in seeing us do like draw a bath bomb, or like we did actually do that for an episode, didn't we?
Yeah, we've made jokes about that. Whether we drew it or not, I don't know.
I think we did do one drawing where it's a bomb character in a bathtub. I feel like that's a thing.
How could we have not done that by now?
I would be very surprised. I would be almost disappointed. I mean,
we're at 51 shows, which means we've been doing this at least what, a full year?
No, we're 1 week away. Well, I mean, we've been doing.
Oh yeah, you're right. We've been doing it more than a year, but like a year's worth of shows. Like if there's one a week.
Yeah.
There's been some missed weeks and stuff.
$50 black slick back hair wigs. But what sort of you mentioned you were playing games and stuff. What sort of games you been playing lately? You know.
So lately I just beat. Or I didn't beat it, but I've been playing the new Spider-Man. I don't have a PlayStation 5, but I'm playing on PlayStation 4. That's very fun. It's just like the first one, just like more of the first one. But I like the first one a lot, so I'm all for it.
Nice.
The crew has been playing a little of Vermintide lately. Haven't really dug into that a lot yet, but been playing.
We did the first act.
Yeah, and that was pretty fun so far.
That was a good time.
We'll see how it continues to be. What else? That's about it. And then, yeah, I've just been working a lot at home.
Sounds about standard.
Yeah. I've been more productive lately than I have been in a while, so it's good, but it's also been busy.
Yeah, it's interesting doing like these little like weekly updates, because it's always like, what are you doing? Oh, it's the same shit I've been doing like the last 8 months of this year since.
Yeah, it's a weird year. It's hard to be interesting.
Yeah. We can't all be fucking, you know.
Can't all be fucking.
Can't all be fucking. I mean, you know, or we can't all be the Kardashians going like, I got all my friends tested. We went to a private island.
No.
Which was a meme for a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
I haven't been on social media for like 2 months now, I want to say. So
wow.
I am like
Twitter and everything.
No Twitter, barely any Instagram.
That's awesome.
It feels good.
Yeah, I'm jealous of them. I listen to that and I'm like, well, that sounds amazing.
It's been grand.
I feel like I'm approaching doing the same thing pretty soon.
I highly recommend it. Mostly because social media is poison.
Yes.
I'd rather just talk to the people I actually want to talk to. I mean, I also haven't made anything worth posting on social media lately. So there's that. But, you know, I mean, I've been writing those articles and things like that, but they get posted like when I'm not really, like, there is no like a specific time that I'm aware of when they go up. They just sort of are live at some point. And I'm like,
gotcha.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I used to kind of be sucked in because I used it for a lot of my work, but I haven't been lately. I don't know. I used to use Instagram a lot, but it kind of got shitty and it was kind of pay to play, so I don't really use that for work anymore so much, and it's kind of nice to not have to worry about that shit. Yeah,
I don't miss it, to be honest. Yeah. Like, when I look at, like, the social media icons on my phone, and I'm just kind of like, huh. I have no desire to push that button.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a healthy opinion, so that's good.
I highly recommend it to anybody. Stay out.
I need to, especially, like, would have done me a lot of good this year. I doom scrolled every day. And still
I was doing a lot of doom scrolling. I would be like, okay, before I go to sleep, I'm lying on my bed. Time to do 5 minutes of doom scrolling, so my nightmares will be realistic.
I want them to be on brand. I want to really conceptualize some real fears.
I want to really enter like into the dystopic void of the mind. If I make my bomb guy a little smaller, right?
I'm just trying to fit everything in. You could also do some kind of like, I guess the angles would mess it. You could do something like make him a little bit more foreground than my character if you wanted to.
We could do that, yeah.
Even, whatever you decide to do, either way would be good.
I might do that because his shoulder is already almost in position to be.
Yeah.
I mean, his whole anatomy is fucked up right now. Let's be honest here.
I mean, that's what happens when you go Super Saiyan. All your bones break and you twist into a hideous body horror creature.
That's also like becoming a werewolf.
I don't know. I don't really watch the show, so just a guess.
It's not entirely accurate. Maybe watch the fucking show before you go making statements.
I need to. All the dragon heads are real pissed at me right now.
Dragon, rock the dragon. Does that even mean anything to you when I say it?
No.
See, look, I can only help him so much, everybody. Anyway.
Sorry, guys.
At the beginning of this year, before everything, I was at Austin's place, frequent guest, friend of the show, and we watched. We were like, we're gonna go somewhere, and then we canceled for whatever reason, and then we just like all got drunk and watched the Dragonball Z movie Brawly, which is like, there was a Brawly movie, and then they came out with like a new Brawly movie like a year ago or 2 years ago or however long ago that movie came out, and that shit was knocking butts. Like, hilarious.
Was it great?
I mean, I had a lot of fun watching it. It's like, it's hard to quantify a Dragon Ball Z because it's always just like more shit getting crazier. Like, they literally break reality with their fight in the movie. That's not like a spoiler because that happens all the time, but like, they straight up like break reality, and like you end up watching them fight for like 10 seconds or so in like a dimension that's void of time or place. It's weird, but it's great.
That's a big, it's a very powerful person to be able to do that.
Indeed. There's also like a weird, like, there's also a funny thing. It's like this character, and so like people are on like a ship because space is a thing in Dragon Ball Z. So there's like aliens and other planets that space happens on, and there's this lady on this like ship. It's almost like you know, like when they crash land on that weird scrapper planet in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
It's a space station kind of like that planet, if I'm remembering this correctly. But anyway, she runs into the character Brawly, who the movie is about, and like his origin and like what happens to him and all that stuff. And like she's just like DTF right away. Like she meets this Brawly dude, and he's like nice to her, which is like more than anybody else is doing on the ship. But she's just like, damn, like she's like immediately interested in the Brawly character, and like my thinking is she's like, this dude is like 8 feet tall and like as wide as like a tractor trailer, so like his dick has got to be so that's, and like,
so that's where your head was at while watching this film.
I mean, look,
what's that cartoon's dick look like?
Because she was thinking it. It's like clear. It's like it sounds like I'm making it up, but they make it pretty obvious that's also on her mind, like from the get-go. And then no spoilers, but she ends up like just living on a planet with him, like with no way off of it, and being like totally okay with it because she's getting that good D. And that's the movie.
Good for her.
That's my description of Brawly, Dragon Ball Z Brawly.
Is it animated?
Yes.
Okay.
But she does straight up move to like a planet with a complete stranger, which is not something her parents would advise.
Sometimes you gotta take leaps, you know?
That she did. That she did. But it's a fun movie, and they break the space-time continuum with their fighting.
Oh boy,
and,
that's when you need to. That's when you need to knock off the fighting.
That's when this might be going a little too far, guys. Okay, maybe we should calm down. Maybe take a counseling session.
Guys, settle it down. You too.
Hi. Hey there. I know you all are having your big fight. Maybe chill a little bit. Simmer down now.
So, you said it takes place in a world where there's aliens and all this weird stuff. Why is everybody fighting so much?
Because that's how you, because there are people who want to do bad things, and that you gotta fight them to make them stop.
Okay. So they're villains. They're just assholes.
Yeah, like they actually, one of the villains from the show comes back for the Brawly movie, and like he gives his reason for why he's doing the whole thing in the movie, and it's kind of funny because like it's completely ridiculous, his motivation, and like everyone in the movie is just like, are you fucking serious? Like that's why we're fighting right now? And he's just like, yes. Anyways, do the thing, fight, because I want this thing. They're always fighting over the Dragon Balls. That's a fact.
Is that how you get powerful?
Well, with the dragon, if you get all 7 Dragon Balls, you meet the dragon, and he grants you any wish you want. You can ask for, you know, immortality. You can ask for people to come back to life.
How many characters have met the dragon?
God, that is a lot.
Lots? Okay, so it's not that hard to achieve.
It's like pretty much, if I remember correctly, like every season of Dragon Ball Z is.
So Dragon Ball Z is essentially like Twisted Metal, the anime?
Yes.
Or is that too weird of a reach?
I mean, I'm trying to think of like how Twisted, like what the
basically
nature of
the whole
competition for Twisted Metal
basically
is.
Whoever wins this fighting card competition meets Calypso, who's like the head of it, and he just gives you whatever you want. Some people ask for like weird supernatural shit, and somehow he just gives it to you, and that's.
Then yes, this is actually a very.
A lot of times that's very like they're all very like monkey's paw situations though, where it ends up like being a twist, like oh, should have been careful what you wished for.
Oh no, there's none of that though. In Dragon Ball Z, if you're like, hey, can Goku come back to life? He's just like, done, dude. That dude's like been. You don't know this, but that dude's been training on a miniature planet with gravity 5 times the size of Earth. And well, he's back now, so he's not doing that shit anymore. And then they'll try and kill the guy who killed Goku. Then.
I see. We got some people in the chat. Let's see.
People in the chat.
Nero Nico says, "You guys talk about Twisted Metal. I love that game." Yes, we were.
You are much more savvy to the world of Twisted Metal than I am.
I played a lot of the old ones. I haven't played the new ones so much. Didn't they make one recently? Is that a thing, or is that long ass time ago and I just have no concept of time?
I think that was back in the PS3 days. David Jaffe, who made God of War, ended up like going on to work on Twisted Metal.
Oh yeah, it's been a long time. Been a long time.
Been a long time, been a long, lonely.
Yeah, the last one was 2012, so that's been a minute. I didn't play that one. I played the old ones back like PlayStation 1 days. So yeah, those are the only ones I know any of the story about, so to speak. But yeah, they're fun.
They are...
Zach, oh sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say they're interesting games for sure.
Yeah, they were fun at the time. Now I'd probably get lost in the clunky 3D of any PlayStation 1 game. It's a hard time to go back and play.
It is.
When they're figuring out 3D.
I was playing some Tomb Raider, like from your Steam Family Share, back before I got this new computer, because like it was one of the few games that I knew my tablet could run pretty well. Mm-hmm. And that is an interest. Like I think if I went back into it, like I could probably, like I was getting used to the jank, and I was having a lot of fun with it. But you know, it's rough because they're like, hey, you gotta like do these platforming puzzles, but also
we haven't figured out how to make platforming work yet in 3D.
So it's gonna be tough, but deal with it, because we made this game with 6 people in like 5 months. Yeah. And back then that was possible. It's
hard to it's interesting because like you look at certain things pre PlayStation 1 or pre like N64 where they're old as hell, but they work really good because the mechanics, they got them tightened out and they work. But like PlayStation 1 was like a time and they're still figuring things out, and so it's really hard to go back and play some of those games. Not saying it's true for all of them, but for a lot of them.
I mean, I think it's possible to go back and play them, but it's tough, especially if you're like going in the mindset of like, can I just make the fucking camera do the thing I wanted to? And they're like, no, we didn't have 2 analog sticks at this point in time, so.
I remember before there were analog sticks. I remember like getting Ape Escape was the first game that I played with analog sticks.
Yep, I remember we had a friend who had a PlayStation. We had like a Nintendo 64, but we were playing Ape Escape at his house. And
that was like the tech demo for the analog sticks, kind of.
Yeah, we put the game in the PlayStation, and the game was just like, you gotta get controllers that have analog sticks, bro. And we were just like, what is that? What is... Huh?
The way of the future. And then there was like a period where I was like, feared change, and even though I had a controller with analog sticks, I refused, and I was still using the D-pad. And then we get a game that was like, no, this is analog stick only, I'd be mad about it, even though it's way superior.
Oh, for sure, yeah. It was bullshit. I'm never even playing this fucking...
I'm a D-pad man and will be forever. I'll be D-pad until the day I die.
This game probably fucking sucks anyways. What is this, Metal Gear Solid? Yeah, this game probably sucks as dick.
Guess I'll never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but eventually I got over that bias.
It's good.
When I realized analog sticks weren't going nowhere, I finally gave in. Now I use the bullshit. They're terrible. So much worse than a D-pad.
They're the worst. I hate them. Mouse and keyboard's where it's at.
Speaking of, I've been playing a little bit of the Tony Hawk remaster.
Oh yeah, how is it?
It's fun. It's very nostalgic, but also because it was the actual gameplay was designed to pre-analog stick, or at least that's how I used to play it. I find myself like switching back and forth between the two.
Interesting.
For it to control the way I feel comfortable with. I don't know.
I played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 on Nintendo 64, which, you know, those controllers were fucking dumb as hell.
They were.
Like, so you used like the analog stick in the center, but I think you could use the D-pad too.
And then there's like a yellow D-pad, which is like really annoying over on the right.
Yeah, that was basically them being like, we didn't think of a second analog stick yet,
So that's how you pan the camera, like, in a very slow fashion.
Or too fast of a fashion. Like,
it's
Mario
like
64's camera is a fucking nightmare to deal with.
And if you're trying to, like, pan your camera around, and you need to use a D-pad to do it, why put another separate D-pad over on the right when you already have the one on the left that you have to use for other shit?
That controller was, like, the epitome of Nintendo, like, trying some weird bullshit and being like, we're Nintendo, like, we can try weird bullshit.
I'm sure there's some people in the chat that are offended by this whole conversation, but...
Yeah, I think there is, like, a subset of gamers that are like, no, the Nintendo 64 controller is a...
And it has separate handles, so, like, depending on how you want to use it, you have to grip it in different spots.
Yeah, there was no way to use all the buttons at once.
No, you basically had two controllers fused together, and then you had to, like, pick and choose which parts of it you wanted to use.
Yeah. Your favorite controller, if you have one?
I never had. I was about to say I never had an N64. My favorite controller. So I guess I don't think it's the best, but it's what I'm most comfortable with. I'm most used to the PlayStation one, but I'm slowly gravitating towards like the Xbox setup. I feel like that's kind of the most like.
Yeah.
It kind of got everything going on.
Xbox controller got it going on. Yeah, I mean, I have an Xbox controller that my brother got me for a holiday. And it's nice, it's comfortable, you can use all the buttons without having to like switch back and forth.
It's got a good weight to it. I feel like the PlayStation controller is like really light.
It is very light. It's a light controller, and you'd think that'd be a good thing, but like you do want some heft.
Yeah.
You want some heft to this bad boy. And yeah, and like you even get more heft if I were to like put the batteries in. Like that would obviously add some.
I'm thinking I'm gonna buy like a Xbox or ask for like an Xbox One controller to use for my PC gaming.
That's a good idea.
For like Christmas or something. Just because right now I'm using the Switch Pro controller on my PC and it works pretty good, but I don't think it has like pressure sensitivity in the triggers or anything like that.
Yeah, it's a shame that the Steam controller never got a lot of support because it is a flawed controller. Because if you can see the D-pad, it's just a big circle, and I mean it works as a touchpad, but
they're trying to do some Nintendo level things right there.
Well, here's the thing. This right thing that's supposed to be like the right analog stick, it's like a right pad. It's a like touch sensitive like pad that actually works really well. Like if you wanted to use it on your computer as like
hold it up on the camera a little bit for our viewers to see. If you don't know, maybe they probably already do, but
yeah, you know, it exists. They can find it online, but this is like a touchpad. So you can like. When you're playing, you're doing it like this, which makes it work as an analog stick, but also it's got a lot of precision to it because you can just like, it's more, you can do like more subtle movements than with an analog stick with the touchpad. Like it works really well as a mouse, which means it's also really good for first-person shooters. The downside with the Steam controller is that they were like, no, the brilliance of this thing is going to be that anyone can upload and make any control scheme whatsoever for any game ever. Which means game developers had to specifically put in a control scheme for the Steam controller in their games, or else like they were just like, Steam was just kind of like, shit bro, you're out of luck. We got like some shit that's sort of like it. Like you could, like they had like templates which were like, this is like a controller where you're using an analog stick for camera control, and it was kind of dumb because it's just like, no, just like have it work like a second analog stick. But why is it so complicated to it was like, if you wanted to play a game, you had to either look to see if somebody had a control scheme for the controller, or you had to make your own, which is like a 20-minute process, and it was just so dumb.
Oh, that's annoying. So like there isn't a default that you can use?
There was a default, but like for some reason it worked sometimes, but most of the time it didn't.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah. So it was like,
I would assume you just use like Pretend you're an Xbox controller if nothing else is there, you know.
Yeah, and like there was a template like that, but they were also like specifically like pretend it's like an Xbox controller, but the right analog stick is for camera control. And it was just like, yeah, that's like most things. So like, why is there any other option? And second of all, why doesn't it work? Like, it was
weird.
It would have been a great controller if it actually functioned. And
almost
like there were some games, yeah, like there were some games where I was just like, this is the shit, this is great. But also sometimes games just didn't recognize it as being a control. Like the way you had to make it work a lot of times was you had to make, like you can use it, you can set it up so like certain things act like a keyboard. So like a lot of like control schemes that work the best would be like, okay, this button is someone pressing left on the D-pad of an Xbox controller. But then, whoa, all of a sudden, this is also a keyboard? So, like, any game that was, like, sometimes games don't let you do both at the same time. So, like a lot of the games would just be like, this shit ain't working, bro, because I think you're using a controller and a keyboard and mouse at the same time. And it was like, what? Why is this so complicated? It doesn't need to be this stupid.
Yeah. It's like trying to do too much and ends up failing at all the tasks because of it.
Exactly. Yeah. And like it's a shame too, because I really actually do like the touchpad and how it works. Not so much on the D-pad. Like it's cool that you can use the D-pad as a touchpad, but also if you wanted to like hit a specific direction on the D-pad, like that shit ain't gonna fly because sometimes you're hitting like a diagonal and you're like, no, I just wanted to press down.
So here's my idea. And maybe you've already thought of this, but there are a lot of programs out there that allow you to map your controller, like from the desktop level, as like a program, and that way you could maybe like, this is how I want this controller to be in every game, and then play a game.
So like you would think that that would work, but I've tried something like that. It was just weird. Like there's like a number of like for instance, if you wanted to use the controller but you had Steam turned off, it would work differently than if you had the controller plugged in and Steam was on, where it would also work differently than if you were actively using Steam. It would just constantly switch modes, because like the thing was like because it's a Steam controller, like it was very much like the moment you plug this baby in, Steam's going into big picture mode. And it was just like, no,
everyone's favorite mode.
No, I don't want that. Yeah. Like big picture mode also doesn't work for in a lot of different situations for like no reason. So it was just.
I remember the first time Big Picture Mode came out. I tried it and I'm like, oh, this looks cool. It's like a console. And then I tried to use it for like 3 seconds and I'm like, oh, I'm never using this again.
Yeah, and you'd think like they would have improved. Like Big Picture Mode has gotten like no work done in like the last 5 years. So it was just very
selling games. They don't have time to make anything.
Exactly, and not to make anything that works. But so yeah, so like it's a great controller in parts. Like at least that touchpad as a second analog stick is, I think, like so fucking dope, and I wish more controllers did that. But literally nothing else about it worked. So that's my review of the Steam controller. I give it a missed opportunity out of 10.
There you go, folks. After hearing that, go online and buy some Cyber Monday deals for Steam controller.
That's right. I think I got this one for $2 because nobody wants them. But then as soon as my brother gave me the Xbox, also another bad thing about the Steam controller is it only works on Steam. So for instance, I play a lot of games on it. Games for Windows Live, Xbox Game Pass thingy.
Why would they do that?
Because it's like that dumb Apple philosophy where it's just like, if you're not using a Mac computer, you can fuck right off with your fancy shit.
But they're a company built around PC gaming. You'd think they'd understand that people are going to PC game. Well, am I supposed to have 8 controllers lined up next to my computer to play games with, depending on what launcher I'm using or whatever?
Basically, I mean, they were like, hey, you're using this shit for Steam, and if you try and use it for anything else, it's gonna get weird. And also, Big Picture Mode might just open up in the middle of like your other shit. So,
yeah, seems a lame controller. I don't like it.
It's like a weird way to fucking hobble what is an otherwise pretty. I like it otherwise. It's got a good feel.
Is there?
It's got that heft. It's actually just just gonna test it now real quick, holding it in my hands. I know I haven't like gotten nearly.
The old hold test. This is how the pros do it.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, putting it down.
That's as long as you can hold it. Before it.
Yeah, it's got like. I got like big hands, so like this one's got like some extra.
Oh, always gotta brag about how big your hands are. We get it.
I gotta like buy extra size gloves. No, it's got like some extra like room to grip shit on, which is nice. Like I don't feel like I'm cramping my hands, and I don't feel that way particularly about the Xbox controller. But I do wish I had like a little bit more grip room on this thing that I get from the Steam controller. But
yeah.
Otherwise, it's still a good feel to it. I mean, it's just a shame that the Steam controller doesn't work at all.
Yeah,
especially like, I haven't tried it for like newer games, but I couldn't even imagine trying to use it on a game that's come out in like the last 3 years.
If you got one thing going for your controller, working is probably the thing that you want it to be.
You generally want that pretty high on the list.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's #1, but it's
design is important, but that the product works is a bigger one, I think.
Yeah. So it's a shame because I really do like that touchpad function a lot. But it's gotta work.
It's gotta work.
Make it work, people.
Well, yeah, you've mentioned it a few times to me that you liked it, and then we never gone that in depth. Actually, hear what the issues were with it.
It feels good to take it to a public forum where I can complain about all my problems.
Now that people know, and you will, maybe Steam will hear this after we brought it up on our very popular Twitch show.
Maybe they'll kick me off of Steam because they'll be like,
"You bastards! How are we supposed to sell these things now?" They were selling so good before that.
Yeah, people were really on our
that
side.
hit job you did on your show.
How dare you? I bet you haven't even used a fucking Steam. Let's see you map your own control scheme for your controller. Let's see you do it. I have actually. It took fucking 20 minutes and it still didn't work after I tried. So.
Z-Newts just subscribed.
Whoa,
thanks, Zach.
What money, Zach?
There he is. Well, I think you get. Don't you get a free one, or is he just a generous person? Either way, we appreciate it. Let's not call out his financial situation on air when he does us a favor.
I don't have any money, so like I have a hard time imagining anybody else having money right now.
Well, he's trying to give you some of his via the subscribe system. Thanks for subscribing, Zach.
You are a real one.
If you want us to draw something on air, we will definitely do that for you. That's our promise to you.
That's right. That's the DrawBomb way. Let's read through these comments real quick. Twisted Metal series always had a crazy cool aesthetic. I'm glad they leaned into the grim dark look of later games. Captain Cheapy says, there's actually more. I'm too scrolled down.
Oh yeah, I missed some of that.
Again, all of them, to be honest. Wait, hold on. All of them, to be. Oh, okay. On. So many comments. We haven't been keeping track. I've been bitching about control this whole time. I quit Instagram on late 20,000. Oh my god.
20,000. The year 20,000.
Space is no longer unpopulated. I quit Instagram on late 2019, and I never really had a Twitter account. Good, don't start. It's a fucking Instagram is honestly the best because it's like the least amount of people yelling at each other, and it's still like
it's more positive, but it is very like if you're trying to get like a following on there. Like I used mine for business for a long time, and when I used to use it, I was way more successful. Now it's like algorithms to see, like even your followers don't see your stuff unless the algorithm decides so, and on top of that you have to pay. You gotta drop money to get up where you want. So that's kind of killed it for me because I used to really like not just for getting followed, but like following artists myself. Like now even the people I follow, I don't see their stuff unless I like specifically dig for it.
Yeah, it's dumb and stupid.
Kind of killed it for me, unfortunately. But
let's see. Social media is indeed the worst. Ian on the subject of meat cans again. I think that was me talking about Brawly's dick. Captain Chica says all of them. To be honest, I think they are saying they quit all social media, or all social media is toxic. One or the other.
It all is.
Xenute says, I love the Brawling movie so much, mostly for the fact that Frieza shows up for 30 seconds and gets washed by Gohan with a gut punch. That does indeed happen, although Frieza is still the big bad of the movie. But it's a very enjoyable version of Frieza, where he's like a petty, like, he's basically a petty villain who's just like a
curling his mustache.
If he had one, or if they had one, I don't even know Frieza's gender. I think it's a he. It's hard to tell with Frieza, but
it's an alien, right?
It's an alien,
Yeah,
so it
an
could be, it could be like in, it could be anything. I mean, it doesn't even have to be like a binary gender thing.
Their biology has multiple genders, like 10. There's probably that probably exists somewhere.
I mean, depending on your classification of gender, there's an infinite number. For
yes, that's not what I meant.
Spectrum.
Of course.
But yeah, just moving further along, Twisted Metal has a crazy aesthetic. Oh yeah, Neuroneko says, I had Twisted Metal Black for the PS2. Captain Chibi says, I played through a bunch of Tony Hawk 3 and 4 earlier this year around the time that they announced the 1 and 2 remaster. That's a great time to start playing those games again. I played Underground and Tony Hawk 4 beginning of like last year or something like that, and I gotta tell you, made me realize, playing Tony Hawk Underground so recently, I realized how much of playing Tony Hawk is just doing the arrow balancing minigame, which kind of frustrated me. I was like, oh, so it's mostly just like a fancy balancing an arrow game.
It's like Flappy Bird, but you're riding a skateboard.
Exactly. Yeah, that's actually very accurate. Tony Hawk, the very first Flappy Bird. Xenute's Turok games handled FPS controls on the Nintendo 64 masterfully. I would agree with that. The Turok games, did you ever play a Turok?
Me, no. You fight dinosaurs. We talked about it on the show back in the day.
That's right, we did.
In the beginning of the show.
Back in the other version of the show that Captain Sheepy and oh my god, I'm forgetting the other person, Duskity. Were around for. OG DrawBomb.
That's right.
Which there are nowhere to find. But yeah, like basically what it was is in Turok you would use Nintendo 64 controller, 3 prongs. Again, doesn't make any sense. Middle prong has the analog stick, and then the right prong has the C buttons. And what they did with Turok, which was smart, is the C buttons would move your character up, down, left, right, and then you'd use the analog stick to move your aim around. So it's kind of like the reverse of how it is nowadays, where like your right hand is doing the looking, which took some getting used to, but it makes a lot of sense because then you can use the analog stick to look around and stuff without having to.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Yep. And that's Game Corner.
You gotta color your guy.
I know, I'm working on it right now.
Okay.
Good Saiyan armor colors.
I just was basic and copied Goku's colors.
That's I'm looking at like a cheat sheet right now. So what sort of flim-flams and TV shows have you been watching as of late?
Me, let's see. I watched the newest episode. No, I haven't seen the newest episode. Getting caught up on Mandalorian. It's been pretty fun this season. It's hard to compare it to the first one until like there's more out. First season, but it's been good. I like that show. I think it's fun. I'm not like a giant Star Wars fan, but I think as far as Star Wars goes, that's like kind of like the purest expression of it right now. I think like kind of captures the fun better than a lot of things right now.
Yeah.
So that's been fun. I've been watching that. What else? I've seen it before, but me and Morgan have been watching Barry again because she had never watched it. That's a really good show.
I still haven't seen any of that yet.
It's good. Bill Hader writes and acts in, and he's the titular Barry, and he's good. It's like a good balance of like being really like silly and weird, but also being like kind of intense at moments. And there's some drama and stuff. It's good.
That's good.
So that show's good. What else? I think that's about it right now. How about you?
I've been watching Bob's Burgers because I finished watching Archer, and I'm about halfway through season 6, I want to say, which means I have like another 5 to go. Which the show is currently airing its 11th season, so like every other day I'll like look and Hulu's like got a new episode up on season 11, and I'm like, oh god. No, I mean it's good. I love the show, but it's just so much. Bob's Burgers. There's so much TV. Like I'm trying to like catch up on shows that like I like and have watched some of, but like never got around to like watching it. So I'm watching Bob's Burgers now, and goddamn, there's like 22 episodes a season, and it's like.
If it feels like work to catch up on, then maybe you should watch.
It's not that it's work, because I love it, because it's like when I was watching Seinfeld. Like once I finish Bob's Burgers, I'm gonna be like, shit, now I gotta find like a new comfort show to watch.
Yeah.
It's just like good goddamn, like there's like so much TV. There's just so much TV everywhere.
It's true now more than ever. Like they don't really make movies anymore; they just make TV.
Yeah, so I've been using this pandemic as an opportunity to like really catch up on some shit.
Watch so much stuff this pandemic.
So much stuff.
This year.
This current pandemic.
I don't like to say it that way because it makes it sound like there's gonna be a different one next year that.
Well.
I don't want to think about the possibility of that.
If we're being realistic. Anyways, but so yeah, there's just like so much TV to watch. So like. I've had like 8 people tell me like, "Hey, you should watch fucking Queen's Gambit. You should watch Barry."
Oh, yeah. I watched Queen's Gambit. That was good.
Is it good? I've had a couple of people.
I liked it. Yeah, it was one of those shows that just kind of like it was interesting. Struck like it was finished an episode. I wanted to watch another one and see what happens, kind of thing. Like it gripped me pretty good.
I like it. Yeah.
So I like it.
Sorry, go ahead.
So I liked it. That's what I said.
Nice. Oh, okay. So yeah, I've watched that, and then for an article that I'm writing for the website thingy, I watched the 36th Chamber of Shaolin movie, which is on Netflix, it turns out, which is just a classic kung fu film.
Okay.
And it was dope, so I'm glad I watched it.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's good shit. It's like good classic kung fu movie where main character has to train the whole movie. Like, if you explain the premise of a lot of kung fu movies, it would sound boring as fuck, because you're just like, yeah, this dude's like training for like 7 years in order to fight some guy who killed his whole family, and it's just like, so like the movie is like him and his family dying, and then like he's fighting the dude after the 7 years of training. It's just like, no, this is like the training. This is like we're watching a movie, this dude trains for 7 years, and that doesn't sound fun, but it's so fun, because it's sort of people don't talk about it a whole lot, but like one of the most enjoyable aspects of, I think, a good martial arts film, and I feel comfortable saying this because I fucking love kung fu movies and I watch so many, is like when they do like those training exercises where someone's just like, and it always plays out the same, where someone's just like, hey, I'm your kung fu master, I'm going to teach you how to do the martial arts better than anybody else in the world, so what I'm going to need you to do is I'm going to need you to pick some roses for me. And the dude will be like, what the fuck, man, like I thought I was going to be learning
to teach me.
Yeah,
classic.
Exactly.
I know they weren't the first one to do it, but Karate Kid is, I think, the one that really popularized that trope.
Oh yeah.
At least in the West.
So, and then like he'll like pick the roses and like hurt his hand on the thorns. He'll be like, "What the fuck? My hands are all bloody because of the rose thorns." And then the kung fu master will be like, but you have to learn to hurt your hands in order to." They always have a great reason for.
And then there's the scene where like the dude, it finally clicks with him how the training's working. He like looks at the master, who's like, "Mm-hmm."
Yeah, exactly. It's always like a. And then the master's just like, you got it. You picked up what I'm putting down.
It's good.
So that's one of like the most classic aspects of like a good kung fu movie is like that weird shit. And so like 36 Chamber of Shaolin is like mostly that, which is so fun. And it's just like there's like the one training regimen is like he's got to go to like the cafeteria in order to eat food for the day. But in order for anyone to get to the cafeteria to eat food, they gotta jump. Like there's like a bundle of logs, sticks that are like floating in like a little pond, and they have to hop on the logs and then hop past the logs and get to like the other side without falling in the water, or else they have to like dry off and try again.
Okay.
And so it's all about balance and like maintaining speed and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that's like a good portion of the movie is him trying to like figure that out, and it's like just really cool. It's just fun. And then like there's like shit where like they have to like carry buckets up and down hills. It's my jam. Where, like,
I know it's not authentic kung fu, but all these conversations make me want to watch Kill Bill again. At least part 2.
It's a fun movie. Part 2 I think is the better.
I like them both, but part 2 is the one with the training sequence.
It is. It's also just like has all the emotion. Like the first one movie is good, but like this, my main critique of Kill Bill Volume 1 is that they save all the emotional payoffs for the second part, which is kind of how serial movies go. But
I also think part 2 feels more like a succinct unit of a movie. Part 1 is feels like a collection of a few different things happening. And it's kind of, some of it's played out of order, some of it's animated, and it's all cool, but it just feels more like a weird collection.
It's like a bunch of disjointed scenes.
And 2 feels a little, as far as I remember, feels a little more like a unit, but
yeah, I remember it being that way too. Like I remember watching Kill Bill Volume 1 and thinking like, this is alright. And that was like in high school, so like, you know, that's not exactly what I think of it now. But like, then I watched part 2 and I was just like, oh shit, this is the part that has all the metaphors and like character arc and shit. Like it's just all the good stuff is in. They save it for part 2, in my opinion. I mean, they obviously the fight scene with the Crazy 88s is great.
I love part 1 a lot. I'm not shitting on that at all.
Oh yeah, same.
I remember the first time I watched it. I think I had just seen. I didn't really get into Tarantino until later. I had just seen Inglourious Basterds in theaters. I think it wasn't the first, but it was one of the first of his films I had seen, like post like Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, like probably one or two others that I didn't know were his even at the time. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, that was fun. So I looked up some of his other stuff, and I remember it was like, I was in high school also, but I think I was in high school, I don't know. But I found Kill Bill, and I watched the first one. Like I was like, I'll put this on before bed, expecting to fall asleep during it, and then I watched the whole thing, and then I was like, well, I gotta watch part 2 now. Ended up watching that one too that night.
Right. I was in, I think I was in middle school when Kill Bill Volume 1. I think it came out in 2003.
Yeah, I watched it on DVD, so it was long after it had been out.
Oh yeah, I didn't get to see it in theaters. I was like, I graduated when I was 18. This movie came out 6 years before that. So like Kill Bill Volume 1 came out when I was like 12.
Kill Bill had been out for a while by the time I had heard of it or decided to watch it.
So like when the movie came out, everyone was just like talking about how good of a movie it was, and I was already like a big kung fu movie fan at the time, and I was just like, shit, well, people are saying this is great. I gotta see this movie. I'm only 12. So I couldn't see it in the theaters, and like I told my parents how I wanted to see it, and they're like, it's rated R, and I hear that the main character cuts a bunch of people's limbs off with a sword.
Like, oh, so you get it. You understand why I want to see it.
Yeah, I was also scared though, because I was not like very good at, I was squeamish, so I wasn't good at handling movie gore at the time. I'm much better now, but like, I was kind of like, okay, so Dad agreed when Kill Bill Volume 1 came out on DVD, he got it like day of from the rental store or whatever, and then he was like, okay, well, we'll watch it, but you know what you're getting yourself into. And I was like, look, you put it on the TV, I'll start from the back of the room and I'll slowly make my way closer to the TV as I get more comfortable with what's happening. And like once she cut the first dude's head off and it was just like a geyser of blood, I was just like, oh, so this looks like fake, so it's fine. And then I watched the rest of the movie and it was a good time. But it was a whole to do though.
When we went and saw Inglourious Bastards in theaters, we invited our one friend, who we normally went to. It was me and my one buddy who like were excited to see it, and then we invited our other friend who normally went to the movie with us. But she a lot of times would say no to like gory things or scary things or whatever. And, you know,
That's fair.
Anyway, so and we're like, do you want to see Inglourious Bastards? She says, yeah, sounds cool. And we're sitting in the theater. It's like previews are going, and we're like, I'm surprised you wanted to go to this one. She's like, why? And we're like, because it's a Tarantino movie. And she's like, what does that mean? And I'm like, oh boy, this one's gonna be gory. And she's like, what? She ended up liking it a lot, but it wasn't that bad. But like the scene where he's like, they're scalping Nazis or hitting the dude. There's some shots that are not.
There's violence for sure.
There's some shots that even me, who was cool with gore, is like uncomfortable. Slightly get the willies, like when he's carving the swastika into the guy's forehead, and like at the end, final scene of the movie.
But that's so. I mean, yes, because it looks so horrific.
But
like,
it's awesome. It just looks gross.
It's so gratifying to watch that.
Yeah. No, I'm very happy it happened, and I had a big smile on my face while it was happening. But it's like, it's gross.
Yeah.
Some people in the chat. Let's see. Neuronico says you should watch Brotherhood on Netflix. It's a Brazilian show. I binged it yesterday. It's so good. I haven't heard of that. What is it about?
I think
If you were still there.
Seen parts of it. Let me just see here. Brotherhood. It's a drama. It's on Hulu too. It looks like, or it might be depending on Brotherhood movie, or is it the movie? No. There's a Brotherhood drama from 2006 that has 3 seasons that it says is on Hulu. Brotherhood Netflix. There's also Brotherhood's not. Okay, there it is. Crime, 1 season, 2019. Language Portuguese. That's probably the one he's talking about.
I assume so.
An honest lawyer reaches a moral crossroads after discovering her brother is the leader of a rising criminal faction.
Oh, spoilers, dude.
I hope that wasn't a spoiler. If it was, blame Google.
I always do.
Yeah, me too. I blame Google for everything. Ian, what's all these dead bodies doing around here?
Google!
Google, man. Like, I don't know.
Fucking Google, dude.
Google's like really fucking up right now, am I right, everybody? So yeah, 36 Chambers, a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. I likes me a good kung fu movie. I mean, or martial arts, because kung fu is specific to styles of martial arts from out of China. I mean, it is a kung fu movie because the Shaw brothers, you know, I believe they are Chinese, and they're talking about Shaolin, which is a Chinese. But look, the point is, I like martial arts movies. Okay, like if you say, Ian, we're gonna watch Ong Bak, I'm gonna be like, fuck yes, I'm down. If you tell me we're gonna watch a kung fu movie, I'm gonna be like, fuck yes, I am down.
So either of those two options.
And only those two. Actually, speaking of Tony Jaa, he's in the Monster Hunter movie, which is so interesting to me.
Weird. What's he doing in that movie?
I don't know.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No, it's not out yet.
Oh, okay. I see. Clearly, I haven't seen it either, because I know nothing about it.
Yeah, well, it's based on the game series Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
But Tony Jaa is in it, so is Mila Jovovich.
Okay.
She's got experience acting in
Video game movies.
Yeah. So it's just also interesting because I'm like, okay, so I know Tony Jaa for his movies where he hits people and it looks like he's actually like hurting the poor actors who are like taking these hits because he's just like fucking demolishing people in his movies, because his movies he's doing Muay Thai, which is just like you practice by like fucking kicking trees, and then when you fight a human, your legs are just so calloused and strong that your shins are like your shins and like kneecaps and shit are like the main weapon. And
you don't worry about the damage you're gonna take from the hit, because you're trained on like things that are like solid.
So like you're just like people who do Muay Thai, like it's just them kicking somebody's face and then like they just like hit the ground and then you're just like, I hope that dude's okay because I would not be.
No.
After getting kicked in the face with a shin.
I've fortunately never been kicked in the face, and I aims to keep it that way.
Me too. I'd like to avoid that if at all possible. Gosh.
I sometimes hear people be like, "What? You've never been in a fight?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't. I take measures to avoid them. There's been calls. There's been times that people wanted to fight me, and then I got out of it."
Yeah.
Because I don't want to fight it. I don't want to fight anybody.
It's also really funny when people say stuff like that, because it's also like, they're like, a lot of people say that shit, and they'll be like, yeah, I've been in like 5 fights. And I'm like, okay, but I've read like news articles where like someone gets punched in the head once, and then they just die. And then
yeah, you fall on the ground wrong, and you will die.
Yeah, and then
it takes only 3 feet. They say it only takes 3 feet of falling to die if you land wrong.
Yep, see, and that's just
and assuming you're more than 3 feet tall, all the boxes are checked.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, the thing is, it's not like the person gets hit in the face, they die because they fell and hit their head or whatever, and then like the courts aren't just like, well, you weren't trying to kill him, you just punched him in the head. The courts are just like, no, you murdered that guy, you're in jail for like at least 10 years. And I'm like, I don't want any part of that.
I didn't even think about that end of it where like, hey, you might murder somebody. I was expecting myself to get murdered in those scenarios.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm the guy falling and bashing my head on the curb in all those scenarios.
So we can see sort of where your self-esteem is at when it comes to the whole thing.
I mean, I've never been in a fight, so I don't know how good I am at it.
Oh, me neither.
In my head, I've played a lot of video games, so I feel like I'd be good, but I'm sure that would be my downfall, where I'm like, I got this, and then I take a boot to the face from somebody who's been practicing kicking trees, and then I die before I hit the ground.
It's like, yeah, I'm definitely in, like, I could go either direction. Like, I've taken, like, martial arts classes and things like that, but, you know, I wouldn't say I retained any of that, and I'm not sure how effective the training was for, like, being in a fight, because it was more so just, like, for the exercise or whatever. But, it could go either way. I could be the guy getting hit, or I could be the guy doing the hitting. But either way, like, that's 2 potential scenarios that are likely to happen that are also bad. And
yeah, no, I don't want to.
I think a lot of upsides to this whole getting in a fight situation.
Zach says Bruce Lee always said the best form of fighting is not fighting, and I agree. He said diplomacy is best. Yeah, I don't want to fight anybody. Why? What? There's people that always like talk about it. They're like very proud of themselves for fighting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sorry.
I'm not a fighter.
Captain Sheepy says pro wrestlers are really good at falling correctly, considering how many times they throw each other off the top rope. Yeah, there's a lot of like. It's really impressive. It's funny how it's kind of like regarded as a childish thing because it's really impressive all the choreography that goes into that, and like not only that, but not much other choreography involves not killing each other and trying to make it look like you are.
Yeah, exactly. There's like an interesting trend, like the sliding scale of liking wrestling that happened over the years, where like when wrestling was first big, people were like, oh fuck yeah, these dudes are fucking punching each other and throwing each other is sick. And then people were just like, you know, wrestling's fake, right? And then like a bunch of people were still hanging on to no, wrestling's real to me, damn it. While a bunch of other people were just like, wrestling's fake, this shit is lame as hell. And then, you know, wrestling was
it's cooler because it's fake, I think.
But now, yeah, like people are starting to understand, like, oh, but it's still really impressive that dude got thrown off of a fucking ladder like 8 feet down on a table. Like that shit's still wild.
And he's
can't fake that.
Fine, yeah.
Gravity.
When I was a kid, I remember having arguments with my dad about how real wrestling was. He's like, it's not, and I'm like, Dad, one of the guys was bleeding, so it's real. Like, he's like, okay, but I'm just telling you, it's not.
Yeah. It's Dad, would that guy be bleeding if, like, what are you telling me, Dad? He's got like a razor blade hidden in his wristbands and he's like cutting himself at like a dramatic moment. Bullshit, Dad.
That would be that's ridiculous.
That's absolutely
laughable.
I think it's much more likely that this dude's actually taking 18 punches to the head on top of a ladder.
Yeah, I would say
While that dude's also stomping on the ground at the same time, which is not making the sound of getting punched in the face.
While you're finishing that up, I'm going to move the title to the middle since there's a lot of space there.
There is a lot of space for that title to be moved. Oh, but you had to go and erase the whole thing. No,
what? Oh, yeah, I guess I could have just dragged it, actually.
I mean, you don't have to. Like,
but I'm going to because that's easier, and I'm all about that.
Kevin G says, I used to get into scraps in my middle school days, not like to like glorify it, but I just kind of grew up around this sort of environment. I mean, you can't avoid every fight.
Yeah, no, I got lucky that I haven't been in a fight. There's been people who have tried to fight me and came close, but I've escaped. Not that I straight up like turned around and went like ah, but like I usually try to talk my way out of fights if I can. But if you know if you're forced into it, obviously it's not. Yeah. Not your. I mean, say.
In all of Jackie Chan's movies, he never starts the fights; he just finishes them. So, you know, like I've never been in a fight, but I've gotten damn near close. Sometimes because I'm shooting my mouth off. Other times just because I don't know. Like a couple of years ago, like this one dude who I worked at the restaurant at, he like it was a weird night. He took us. We used to like go to this really shitty bar that I hated going to, but I went there because everyone else was there. But like, he started like getting real like chummy with me, being like, "Dude, you're like my brother, man. You're like my brother. Like I'd die for you, bro." And I was just like, "Okay, I'm not sure I'd go that far, but you're a nice guy." And then like he introduced me to a bunch of his friends at the bar, one of whom like put my hand on like a wound on his chest, like not a wound, but it was like a big scar, and he was just like, "This is where I got stabbed in the heart," and I was like, "Hey, like maybe let's not do this."
Tell me the story before you grab my hand and put it on your.
Yeah, well, also don't grab my hand and put it on your chest. First of all, that's just sort of a rule of etiquette, regardless. But tell me if you're gonna make me feel your heart stab. So then, like, yeah, he like introduced me to a bunch of his buddies, all who were really fucked up in different ways. And then like we all like the one friend was like, "Let's all go back to my place, and because I have booze at my house." And like we were working in a restaurant and like in our early 20s, so we were just like, "Okay, I got nothing else going on." So we did. And then like the dude's like, "Come on, have a smoke with me, man. Like let's talk about some stuff." And then he started talking about like some battle from the Crusades back in like the 100s. And then like he was like, he brought it all back around to like why he didn't like Muslims, and I was just this is getting really weird. So I sort of try to like escape the conversation, and then he's like a big guy, and he like flew into a rage, and so like the other like he started yelling at me and like saying he's gonna beat the shit out of me. And then the other people who like came to the house with me like held him back and were like, "Hey, like don't fight." And I was like, "Yes, I would very much like not to fight, thank you very much." And like he was like, "Look, think about Switzerland, man. Think about Switzerland." Like he was just saying a bunch of like he's gotten a long time ago.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was a whole.
There's always those situations where like the moment you agree to go to a place you're not normally going to, and you're like, "All right, I'll probably be fine. New experiences." And then like the moment you enter the room, there's just like an energy where you're like, "I should not have come here." I don't run into those situations as much now that I've like.
I'm much smarter now.
I'm 30 now, and I don't find myself in those places as often. But it used to happen a lot in my early 20s, where I just like.
Yeah.
I'm all about meeting people and doing new things and going, and I'm just like, I should not be here right now. And then like I usually have to escape or leave quickly because it's just not good vibes.
That's what I did then.
Yeah.
But yeah, like my ex had a rule where, and I believe it's a very good rule, which is never go to the second location. Which is if you're all gonna start drinking in one place, don't go to like, and people are just like, "This place sucks. Let's all go to like this seedy strip club next to the Olive Garden." That, like, can all start drinking at. Like, no, because that's where the bad things happen.
The bad things happen at the second location, and also 2 a.m. is a good cutoff.
That was the other rule I was gonna say. She like had 2 rules. She was never go to the second location. Nothing good happens after 2 a.m.
Yeah, the second one is from How I Met Your Mother, but it rings very true. It's very accurate. Yeah. So yeah, nothing good happens after 2 a.m. is a good rule.
Very much so. This happened around 2:01. No, it was actually 3:30 in the morning. But yeah, nothing good happens after 2 a.m. Yeah. Nothing good happens in the second location. And I can't think of any situations where those rules were not proven correct.
I was gonna say, if it's ever true, they're so few and far between that it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, but those are, if anyone is listening and they like to party, those are 2 very good rules.
Very good rules.
A lot of bad situations.
They will help you 90% of the time.
Yes.
Captain Sheepy says, basically immediately that if he starts talking enthusiastically about Crusades, you know where it's going. That's true. That is not as soon as that happens, you're like, uh-oh, let's either get out of this conversation or just leave.
That's why he got mad, is because I was like, okay, so you're talking about the Crusades. This is either going to be about the first Assassin's Creed, about how much you hate Catholics, or about how much you hate Muslims. And none of those well, except for the very first one, but I doubted it was going there. But those other 2 conversations are just gonna be awful to be a part of. So, I would like to leave now, please. And then he almost beat me up.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how serious he was about, because like I was just kind of like I didn't go running or anything like that, but it was a big dude who was like threatening to beat me up, and I was just kind of like, how about you don't? And, like, I was very thankful that his friends were there, but I was definitely not. I don't know. It's weird. I should have been quaking in my boots and like cowering, and I was just kind of like, gosh, I hope he doesn't punch me. Like that would suck. Maybe I was too drunk. I don't know. I just remember not being all that scared.
Well, I also do the same thing. I find that maybe it's a form of bluffing, but I feel like it deters people sometimes to just be like, hey, I'm not scared because the fight's not gonna happen. Knock it off, type thing.
Yeah, that was actually very much that's a pretty accurate assessment of like what my mindset was at. And I was kind of like, yeah, if I start acting like jumpy or scared, like that's just gonna make the fight more likely to happen. I'm pretty happy with how I handled that weird situation, but boy, howdy, would I like not to be in that situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, fights. Avoid them if you can. If you think a fight's gonna happen, keep your cool, and you can probably talk your way out of it. And if a fight's definitely gonna happen, get the first hit in.
Yeah.
That's the most important rule.
Kill the biggest guy on the first day.
That's right.
Wait, are we talking about prison or what?
Well, that's also helpful advice. But also just know that doing that means you're never getting out of prison. So like if you're there for like, there's like
you'll be the king of prison, but you're going to be there forever.
Yeah, that's your life now. I forget which. I feel like there was a sketch show that did a sketch like that, where like some dudes go to prison and they get like sentenced to prison for like a month, and then the dude's just like, the one dude who's there, he's just like, yeah, I killed a guy on my first day, so I got my sentence upgraded to a life. So I forget what show it was, but I feel like that definitely happened in some show. But yeah, fights. Huh. What are they good for? Movies and...
In my opinion, absolutely nothing.
Say it again, y'all.
I think they got it.
Yeah, I think so. Louder for the people in the back. What a very apropos picture to be talking about fights while we're drawing.
I think that's why we are, right?
Well, I started talking about Shaolin versus Chambers. Which also, if anyone's wondering, yes, Wu-Tang did name their album after that movie. But yeah, I loves me a kung fu movie.
Yeah, I could definitely watch more. I haven't watched many, honestly.
Well, this article I'm writing is just the article you're looking for.
Well, I'll read it, and I'll enjoy it.
I hope so.
That's for goddamn sure.
and then you're gonna beat me up because I wasn't appropriately. No, I'm not gonna do it. Anyways, yeah, I like me a good kung fu movie. Shit, I can talk about kung fu movies like for a very long time.
We have. About an hour, matter of fact.
Gosh, you know, when you put it like that, it's almost too much time.
Some of our viewers might agree, but I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, we're down to 2, it looks like, so we definitely turned some people off. They were like, oh, kung fu movies, get the fuck out of here. Although, I feel like that counter is not always accurate, because, like, sometimes it'll be like, yeah, you'll have 2 viewers, and then, like, 5 people are actively commenting. So,
yeah, I don't know how it works.
Get your shit together, Twitch. Did you hear
if you are a viewer right now, thank you for watching the show. You're awesome.
Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, everybody, for commenting. Thanks to Captain Sheepy for, you were just the most recent person to comment. 5 Deadly Venoms for the win. Is that the one that they made that on? Did they make that Chemical Brothers video out of that? I'll look it up real quick. No, that is a good movie. It's also by the guy. I looked into the production company that made 36 Chambers, which are the Shaw Brothers, who are like one of the biggest kung fu film like studios. Like that, like they were like one of the guys who kind of like made the genre what it is today.
Okay.
So Netflix had like a whole bunch of their movies on at one point, like 2 or 3 years ago. Nowadays, I think they have 36 Chambers, and that's maybe it. I'll have to go back and double check to make sure. Yeah, they're just good movies. They know how to make kung fu films. Tell you what. But the Shaw Brothers, they did a lot of them. They're like classic kung fu movies, though, like from the 70s and like 60s and things like that. They also produced Blade Runner, though. They weren't the only ones, but if you look in their credits, like they helped finance Blade Runner, which is interesting.
You know what might be fun? It would be doing like a midweek stream where we just watch a movie on here, and I don't know if any viewers would join in, but they could, and we could. I think Twitch allows for that kind of thing.
They have like specific, like it's called Watch Party, right? And they let like specific movies.
I'm not sure how it works. I'm not sure.
I think what it is if we do it the Watch Party route, which I think is going to be our most legit route of screening a movie on our channel. You have like a list of movies that they have approved for Watch Party because they have the rights or something like that, and then you stream it, and that yeah, there you go.
It makes sense. That works. Do it that way.
But I'd be down. I mean, that'd be a lot of fun. Probably like sit here drawing while we're.
Actually, that'd be a cool way to do it. Yeah,
and then
we should do that.
Encourage other people to be working on their art, well, because there was somebody who posted this on Twitter a while ago, and I think it's very true. But when you're an artist, a lot of movies and TV shows become radio, because
they are.
At least for me, like I can't sit and just like watch a thing. I have to like be doing something with my hands. So, like,
I had a couple years ago, I had to switch to just audio because sometimes I'll play stuff if I'm not like in a hurry on the project, but if I'm watching stuff, I have a really hard time working. Like subliminally, I slowly, my attention gravitates more to the thing that's on to the point. At a certain point, I realize I've just been sitting there watching it for like 10 minutes, and it doesn't click with me right away that I've been doing it. So now I usually stick to like music or podcasts.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely the way you're gonna get the most work done is not having something to watch. But if I'm like watching something, I will just try and work on art while I'm doing it too, or play solitaire or something, because I don't know, I can't. I have a hard time just like sitting there, like, I don't know. I think that's ADHD. Somebody told me that one.
I feel like, I'm not going to self-diagnose myself, but I feel like I have aspects of ADHD, but when I have aspects of HD TV. But when I'm drawing, if I don't have any distractions, I can just like zone in and do that for like 5 hours without. I like go like I don't know. I just like go to that. I'm in it so much that I can do it for like a really long time before I realize what's going on. And I'm like, oh damn, I was drawing for a really long time. I just kind of zero in on kind of certain projects and then forget forget my surroundings until I'm like snap out of it type thing.
Man, I need whatever Ritalin you're taking, man.
I'm not on anything, but it works pretty well for me.
I do anything for like an hour, and then I'm just like, shit, man, like I should make myself some soup or something.
Yeah, if I'm feeling procrastination-y, it's hard getting into that mode, but I found that put some music on, get working on the thing, and that seems to work pretty good.
What I found really helps is chill me out so I can do a similar zone out thing is being fucking hella high on weed.
I am not productive at all if I'm stoned.
I can't so
do
much
anything.
more productive high than when I'm like writing and stuff, maybe not so much, but like art, music, if I'm like fucking blitzed out of my mind, like I'm doing great. Like I'll be...
There are times if it's like late at night and I'm like working and I'm like, I'm gonna be up another like 3 hours. It'd be fun to get a little high and then keep drawing. That'll be good. And then the moment the second it hits me, I'm just like close Photoshop and then just like put on like a show. And I'm just like, I can't do this. Like it's just like I am not productive at all. I know some people can be very productive, but I am not one of them.
I find it's like it's a productive enhancer for me, which is interesting. Like it just. I get in a similar zone as you. It still helps to have a TV show on or something, but you know, it's
everybody's got a different kind of
different strokes for different folks.
Exactly.
I'm just about done. I just gotta add a couple more details to this whole shebang-a-bang.
What color's your beam gonna be?
Oh shit. Usually it's
are they different beams? Are there different beam colors? This is like lightsaber type scenario. Are there protagonist beams and antagonist beam colors?
Usually it's like if they're doing a Kamehameha or if they're doing some other sort of attack. Like for instance, but like I think it's usually whatever color schemes happen to work best for whatever situation. So like
Fair.
A lot of times the Kamehameha will be blue, and then Frieza's will be like fucking pink or some shit like that, or red. But I really just think it's like whatever they're feeling. Like a lot of that show is like we were just feeling this today, so that's what we did.
It's a good reason.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, there's no better reason than, you know, convenience, in my opinion. So let me get a good color. Oh, it's not. That kind of actually does work as a multiply layer. Have you ever listened to a lot of the Chemical Brothers?
I haven't, except for like things you've kind of recommended to me.
They have this one song called "Just Get Yourself High," or it's just called "Get Yourself High." I forget which. I forget if they include the word "just" in the title or not. But the music video is pretty dope because what it is they took like just an old martial arts film from like around the same time as 36 Chambers, and then like digitally added a whole bunch of like one guy's got like a boombox around his neck that like they basically made the characters who were like in the film like music related gimmicky characters. So like one of the bad guys has like a boombox necklace, and then the one bad guy is like wearing headphones, and they just like do a bunch of like bullshit with that, and then like just have fight scenes. I think they're just showing like the climactic fight scenes from the movie, and like the one guy like the music video ends, and like the one guy who like they put headphones on gets like the guy like does he like does it like sort of like the Three Stooges thing where you clap your hands on somebody's ears.
Yeah.
But in the movie, I think he uses it to murder the guy by exploding his eardrums. Or I'm sure there's a way you can kill somebody with.
It's a rough way to go.
Yeah. So, but like in the music video, since he's wearing headphones, crushes his headphones, and it's cool. But the song's pretty dope. I'm a big fan of. I like the Chemical Brothers, especially when they veer more towards hip hop than like dance or house. Like they're an interesting band because they're like electronica musicians from Britain. So like a lot of their shit is like very just, you know, how you would imagine a British house band might sound, like, for party music. But then they also have a lot of shit that just sounds so hip-hop, and, like, that stuff is great. And then they just have a lot of, like, also ambient jams that you're just, like, supposed to, like, if you took acid and then listened to some of their songs, it'd be a great trip.
Yeah.
At least it'd be a great 10 minutes of, like,
I like some of the stuff you've shown me of them, but I haven't really dug in myself at all.
I have I think I listened, like, when I had my tablet, I didn't have access to, like, my hard drive of music, so I was doing a lot of Spotify. But if you go onto my Spotify playlist, I do have, like, I went through all the Chemical Brothers and, like, put hearts on all of the songs of theirs that I like, so it's a good way to find good shit of theirs.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Zach Z-Nude says, I have a friend who can focus and draw when they get drunk, and I just don't get it. When I'm drunk, I want to eat chicken nuggets and sleep. And very much the same.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go first. I've been talking like the last 5 minutes.
No, you're fine. I was just gonna say, I actually, I have a better luck of getting stuff done if I'm a little. If my options are being drunk or high, I'm gonna get more done when I've been drinking versus when I'm high.
Interesting. I am definitely the opposite.
I think most people are. I don't know why that is, but
when I get drunk, yeah, I'm very much like chicken nuggets, or like I am like, depending on how drunk I am like seconds from just falling asleep if I get too comfortable. That's one of the bummers about drinking for me is like, I have a good time, I feel loosey-goosey, a lot more interesting at parties, and I know that's not just my imagination, am I right, everybody? But I do get drowsy because it's a depressant, obviously. But
yeah, makes you sleepy.
Yeah, and then I fucking fall asleep if like we were watching like stand-up comedy that one time when you visited Philly, and I had just like a little bit too much to drink, and then I woke up and I was just like, when did yesterday end? And at some point it did. Yeah, yesterday.
It always ends yesterday, unless you had way too much and you sleep through 2 days. Then you got real issues.
Then
you usually wake up in a hospital, I think.
That only happened once, but part of it was sleep deprivation also. There was a whole bunch going on there.
Yeah. Are you good with this one?
You have electricity coming out around.
Yeah, my guy's pretty zappy.
I'm not gonna do the same. Wow, did my camera catch that? Me just throwing my fucking pen at my screen?
We heard it. I don't know. I couldn't see it, but maybe some of the viewers at home caught that. Little blooper. Put in the blooper reel on the DVD.
That's right.
When you get the DrawBomb DVD, go to the blooper section.
Some Spanish flea going on in the background, and I'm just like,
what would be some of our other classic bloopers?
Us getting canceled.
It'd be the time that I went to go draw something and accidentally fell backwards out of my chair. It was a hilarious moment. We all remember it.
That one time I went to go draw something and like a car crashed through my window. And
that was crazy.
That
definitely belongs on the
time.
Another really cool, crazy one was the time that we both forgot our lines. Because these shows are scripted before we start, obviously.
They may seem very off the cuff, but actually,
right.
We go in with like a rough outline.
But that one time we just completely forgot what we were doing. It was a wild time.
And then that one time where I was talking and my pants fell down. Nobody could see it because the camera only goes so high, but you know, it was obvious that my pants had
But you knew it happened. And you know, we're not going to spoil them all because we got to sell those DVDs.
That's right.
And it turns out after we invested all the money in having them made, it turns out people don't really buy DVDs that much anymore, which is...
No.
Maybe we should have looked into that in advance, but...
all Blu-rays now, and people barely buy those. Yeah. It's all streaming.
Well, you know, someone is going to owe a lot of money, and I think it's you.
Yeah. Just what I needed on top of my student loans, am I right, everybody?
Relatable!
No, but really, student loans are killing me, and they're why I haven't acquired any wealth over the years. Oh, God.
Well, this year we didn't have to pay him.
But I did anyways.
That's smart. You could have been an idiot like me and just like been like, woo, extra money, and now I'm that much still in debt.
Oh yeah. No. Well, here's the thing. It was a great idea when I still had a job, because I was like, well, shit, I'm still making like money. I could like probably cut back on $100 or so. But now, like, I haven't had a job for like almost half of the year, and wow, savings drains real quick when you aren't making much income or any income.
Right.
And so that's been great. But I did actually pay off one of my loans in full. There's still 7 more to go, and they're all over $1,000 balances. But yeah, that's one down.
Well, you got that one. That's good.
Yeah, I got one.
That's awesome. I feel like that's.
Happy.
I think you're allowed to be happy about that. That's a big deal. It's awesome.
It is. There's still so much.
Good job.
Hopefully, when the payments start back up again, like my interest will be that much less. That more of my money goes towards strictly my loan principal instead of like interest.
Yeah. It's gonna start up again real soon.
That's true. At end of December, or in December, I'm pretty sure actually.
Yeah. I think it's January.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. That's right.
How has your November been?
It's been weird. I've been at home almost the whole time because we didn't talk about it on the show, and I'm not going to get too much into it now, but I got COVID, so I was home for a while, and then right as soon as I got better and was about to go back to work, my job got closed down.
As they should have back when you first got it.
I agree, because then maybe I wouldn't have gotten it. Well, I definitely wouldn't have gotten it, because that's the only place I go. And so I've just been one thing after another, and so I've just been at home all the time, which is nice in some ways, but I mean, it's what I'd be doing if I had the option, but you know, cabin fever is real, and
oh my god, yes it is.
all that.
Have we talked about cabin fever this episode already?
I don't think so. Yeah, so you know, there's a lot of personal projects, which that I enjoy. A lot of sleeping, a lot of video games. That pretty much captures what's going on in my world right now.
Yeah. It's been an interesting November for sure.
Curious to see if my job will reopen when it's supposed to, which is in just over a week. I don't know because it's not very predictable how they do things. But I mean, our numbers have only climbed since when they shut down, so who knows? If you were looking at it purely from the numbers, there's no way we're reopening in a week. But you know, people in my state are also trying to kidnap the governor because they can't go to Applebee's. So Michigan is a complicated situation. Yeah, the Halloween store. So I don't know. If I like to think that the state government will do what's right, but also if there were plots against my life, I could see myself having to deliberate over my decision. Granted, it's not just her decision anymore because they passed some stuff that stripped her of a lot of her powers.
Of course they did.
Of course they did. Things were just going too good here.
Well. Yeah, if you look at like the numbers, like for my state of Pennsylvania, you can see that like in June, like we were down to 300 cases a day. And I was just like, oh, this is a steady decline. Looks like we're gonna have this shit solved in the next couple months. Life can go back as normal. We can all have Christmas. And then, pretty much right in the middle of June, like they started allowing bars and restaurants and shit to open up again. And then they were like, yeah, schools are gonna open too. And I was like, this is a bad idea. And then you can just see like right when that happened, like the middle of June, like those numbers just start going crazy back up very quick. It took no time at all to get back up to bad numbers, and yeah, that's life
exactly
now.
The same here. In the beginning, Michigan was kind of leading the pack with like most cases. They were one of the worst states, Our governor took some pretty aggressive measures right off the bat in like March, locked everything down for months. Then by June, we had like 100 cases like a week. We were like one of the better states in the whole country. And then a bunch of basically they passed some stuff that took away her rights, and they reopened everything, and now we're in the thousands every day.
Yep. So
And
good. So happy to hear it.
And I'm scared to see what Thanksgiving does, but I've seen how it happened in Canada, which didn't go well.
Their Thanksgiving was like in October.
Yeah, theirs is a month before us, so we can kind of look how it plays out. And they had really good numbers, and then everything just went. So we'll see. See what happens here.
Yep.
I have my suspicions.
As do I. Also, I have officially... Wait, oops. I let this go. Up, nope. Hold on. There you go. Alright.
Beautiful.
I'm done drawing now.
Boy, just in time.
For the end of the episode.
For the end of the episode.
Whole episode.
You know, I enjoy every once in a while when we have one of those episodes where we just really flesh out one thing.
Me too.
I don't mind
I did want to make my dude's face crazy. I mean, we have like what, 7 minutes left?
Yeah, we got time. I mean, we've only been on we started a little bit after.
This is true.
We got like about 7 minutes before we're. Oh, we actually did hit 10 o'clock pretty well. Yeah, we got about 7 minutes till we're at 2 hours.
No reason to
No rush.
start drawing or anything like that. So I'd like to. I wanted to make this dude's face crazier. We talked about this in a previous episode, but when people do like really fun cartoon faces that are like over the top and redonkulous, you know,
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. It's not something I seem to be particularly. At least I don't end up liking the results when I try that shit.
How do you feel about your current drawing?
I wanted the face to be crazier.
Well, you can do that if you'd like to.
I might.
I like it, but feel free to adjust it. I feel good about my character's face.
I like your character. I like your drawing overall.
Thanks.
I think it looks good. I like the way you did the hair. I'm gonna change some things.
Zenute says, so, Jackbox or Vermintide afterwards? You had mentioned you might be a little sleepy.
I might be. Well, I was.
But
I'm a lot more awake now.
This show just invigorated you.
Oh God, yes.
Woke you up. Who needs caffeine when you have DrawBomb?
Shot of cocaine right into the veins in the neck.
There you go. I have to do a few things right after the show's over, but I'll probably be back on not too long afterwards, like I would guess less than an hour afterwards. But...
So this is already turning up this new redonkulous face I'm trying to make here. Yeah, I might be awake.
It's kind of fun to have this whole drawing and then a blank face. Like that's like a fun palette to like be able to do something unique with. I'm actually, let's see. I already saved it. Well, I'm deciding if I want to draw over my face now.
I don't know. It's
no pressure. You'll figure it out.
I always enjoy when people do like I like it in like fucking anime when like they'll have like the characters that looking all anime and shit, like looking super detailed and stuff, and then like not exactly chibi but like when usually they'll simplify things down and it'll look goofy, like especially like faces. A lot of times they're like, it's like the opposite of like how in SpongeBob they'll be like, look at this thing, and then they'll zoom in on the thing and it's like a very like painterly drawing of that thing or whatever. It's like the reverse of that with like facial expressions in anime. Like, they'll go from like big eyes and like all of a sudden like they'll be like making a face like, and then like the face is all like fucking cartoony and shit.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that, and they always like look really like a lot of times the artist will draw those faces and they'll look hilarious and great. It's like I'm so jealous of that.
Yeah, that is always a fun, like, the contrast of that change.
Yeah. I need to start drawing some comics again. I feel like that's like what's missing in my life. Cause I'm like aching to draw stuff. I'm like, what's my favorite thing to draw? I like drawing comics.
Well, we should make some comics then. We should make some comics.
We should make some
Water
comics
log.
for sure. A log of water, if you will.
I will.
Okay. I do need to actually. It's on me actually. The ball's in my court. I gotta finish the next page. Although we should do like the style guides for.
Yeah, I agree.
Which I really like how the one we did turned out. Like every time I look at it, I get excited.
Yeah, it will definitely help me in the future.
Yeah,
to use
and I
that.
think since we're both kind of coming at it with an angle of let's not make drawing each page take.
Doesn't have to be a painting. Let's just be efficient and make it look good.
And I'm actually kind of super for that because I would love to see, because like the thing is, and this was like I would do a page in waterlogged, and I wouldn't like this is something I've done with art all the time, and I talked about this a lot with a lot of people and probably on the show. But like I'll do a drawing, and then I'll think the drawing's not that great because self-esteem is a bitch, and then I'll be like, okay, well the drawing sucks, but I'm not gonna redo the drawing, so I'll just add a bunch of fancy special effects and like blot out the shit and hope that like it's like polishing a turd essentially. So,
I think.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm not trying to interrupt. Actually, go ahead.
No, you weren't interrupting. I took a break from talking for a second, and then I started to say stuff, and you started talking.
I think for me, I have my style down pretty good. I know how I can visualize it in my head, and I can usually get it to look like that. But a lot of our comic was created. Our viewers probably don't know, but we had this comic for many years, and a lot of it was created while I was still learning everything. I mean, I as an artist, you're always learning, but I'm just saying like the basics. So
yeah, we were both in art college when we were working on a lot.
Constantly, like the look was constantly changing, almost like from like every few pages to the next few pages, and so that's a thing I wouldn't suffer from as much now. I would pick a style that I'm going to try to achieve in each page and try to hit it. I mean, there might be some gradual changes that happen as I also continue to grow as an artist, but overall, I wouldn't suffer from that as much.
Yeah, I agree. I would definitely be a lot more confident and decisive in my decision making when it comes to those pages, which that also is what took a lot of the time, is I feel like, how the fuck does this hat look again from this angle? And it's just like, I can figure that shit out a lot quicker now as a person. So I feel like that, and also I've made the concerted effort to not try and hide my shitty line art behind like fancy special effects and like shading and blah blah blah. So with us going into each page trying to keep it like clean and simple and quickly done in mind, I think that'd actually be a really good exercise for me, and just making sure I got like a solid fucking drawing instead of like having a shitty drawing that I spruce up with a bunch of unnecessary details to like hide the fact that I did a shitty drawing. And I'm excited to sort of get a chance to. I think this would be like a great opportunity to sort of practice that, but I think it'd also be just a good practice.
Yeah, for sure. Now that I changed my face and you've changed your face, I'll probably have to like Photoshop 2 pictures together for the Twitter post.
Oh yeah, because you did save the previous version.
I saved the previous version.
I'm glad you did that. You're always on top of that. Oh, by the way, NeuroNeco actually, they hit me up on Discord after the previous episode saying how much they enjoyed one of the drawings I think it was the Google turkey.
Yeah, we had the turkey and we had the the Google turkey, the mashed potatoes, and the cranberries, and then you drew a dwarf.
From
and Zach drew a pilgrim.
That's right, pilgrim. But yeah, I was looking for the Google turkey drawing.
I posted it on Twitter.
You did? Oh, perfect.
I did.
Okay. I was looking in the Dropbox for it, but you know we don't name like you can't search Google turkey if it's not named that. Not that you
right.
Changed.
I name everything weird things.
It's hard to.
Usually sort them by date in the DrawBomb thing, and then you'll have all the new stuff at the top. Yeah.
So wait. Definitely the title cards. We have that sorted. Oh wait, sort them by date. I see what you. Oh, because you can do that.
Yeah, dude.
There it is, right there.
If you want to learn anything else about computers, I got you.
How do I make it turn on?
Hit it with a wrench.
I have to call my grandson every so often to get him to teach me how to turn on my box of TV.
Yeah.
How do I do that? How do you?
Hit it with a wrench. Hit it with
Is there
a big bottle of ranch.
Follow the ranch?
Yeah.
A trail of ranch dressing from here to my computer button box?
Exactly. You get it?
Oh boy. I love ranch dressing. Actually, how do you feel about ranch dressing?
I like it for certain things.
I don't think I've ever had ranch dressing, actually.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it
You're from the Midwest. You've defeated the odds. Congratulations. They said it couldn't be done.
My parents are from the Midwest. I was born and raised in PA, though.
Isn't Pennsylvania officially Midwest?
No, that's super East Coast. I'm pretty sure.
Super East Coast. You're only 2 states away from Michigan.
Well, yeah, but like Pennsylvania is like
long.
Yeah, it's very wide. Wow, we're not even considered East Coast. I guess if we're not on the coast, but we're like what? There's New Jersey between us and the East Coast, and also a little bit of Maryland. I want to say.
You're part of the northeastern Mid-Atlantic region. Great. You're in like limbo. You're just some weird spot that gets some weird like one-off name. There's probably only like 2 states in that section.
It looks like it'd be us in Vermont.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I thought you were Midwest. Cause you're kind of right up in that Midwest area.
We're approaching it, and a lot of Pennsylvania is just like country bumpkin ass shit.
Ohio is Midwest. You're on the
cusp.
You're on the cusp. You're on the line.
I've always considered us East Coast, mostly because
you're on the east side of the state, and it's a long state.
Yeah, we're on that doesn't make, because you can drive 2 hours up and down north and south and hit one end of Pennsylvania and hit the other, but east to west it takes 6 hours to drive across Pennsylvania. Z-Newts, I agree with your choice. That's why I added it, and the drawing's much better because of it. The Globajool?
Yeah. The Gabagool.
Yeah. The Gabagool. No, I think it adds a good addition of detail. There's always those fun, one last details that really spice things up, and I think that's one of those.
Gabagool. Well, on that note, I think this episode's done.
We got a drawing done. Not a record or anything like that, but I think it's a good drawing.
It's a good one. I had fun making it, and that's what counts, right?
I enjoyed making it almost as you're right. Almost as much as I enjoyed talking over it.
Yes, that was great.
Honestly, the drawing would have probably gone a lot better if I hadn't held a Steam controller for
It was my fault. I was like, hold it up, show everybody.
Show it, I can't quite see.
They need to see this newfangled device that's been in existence for 10 years.
Yes. Tell us how much you hate it.
Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for all the people in the chat. Znoots, Hidden Pixel Play, Captain Sheepy, NeuroNico. Am I missing anybody else? I think that's about everybody.
For today. Hidden Pixel Play says an Italian ghost is a gabagool. That's your moment, everybody.
Sorry, Halloween is past, and no, we will not allow these scary jokes in here until next year.
I'm terrified.
You have freaked us out. We need to end the show immediately because of that.
I'm more scared than when that anti-Muslim guy wanted to beat me up.
And that's a scary moment.
It was a scary moment.
I would usually, like, if somebody wants to beat me up, that's one thing. But if they're a large racist, then they're scarier because this person's crazy.
With him like doing that and like introducing me to his friend who got stabbed in the heart and like all the other weird people and him saying he was gonna die for me, I think he was trying to recruit me into like a gang of neo-Nazis. I'll never know, but
getting stabbed in the heart is the initiation. Not many people make it in, fortunately.
No. Yeah, like if you're a neo-Nazi, that should be your initiation.
Yeah, you should all implement that at your meetings. Yeah, I think it will go over well.
No heart. Go do it. Also, if you're a neo-Nazi, just stop watching our show.
Yeah, what are you doing here? You should realize this is not for you. The algorithm did not work.
Yeah,
you're on the wrong side of Twitch. I'm gonna play us out.
Please do.
It was pretty. You're pretty on the money.
I don't know how many like papers to shuffle.
That's been DrawBomb. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.